Hello, we are back again, and this time we are going to make some knee controls. So we definitely need some controls for our knees. We don't want any knee flipping or anything horrible like that. So we are going to create a control for our knee. Now, you could create a NURB circle that's super simple. If you want, you could do like the letter K for knee. For purposes of making this really simple, we're just going to do create NURBS primitive circle. So we have a circle and we're going to name it CC underscore L underscore knee 01. And we're going to immediately delete history on it. Okay, always delete that history. All right, we are going to scale the control down. Let's take a look at it actually. I'm just going to go into component mode and scale it down. This makes it easier. All right, and remember that you do want to select it, so maybe make it a little bit bigger. And actually, I think I want to shape it, but I'm going to wait to shape it. All right, so we have scaled it down. We've frozen transformations. We are now going to group it. Okay, so I'm going to hit Control G to group, and we're going to copy the name as G underscore, and I'm going to paste the name. So G underscore CCL knee 01, and this will become apparent very soon as to why I'm doing this. Okay, so now that we have done that, what we are going to do is we're going to select our hip and our ankle joint. And actually, let's go over here in my outliner to do that. So my hip and my foot joint, I'm going to select the two of those. So I control selected them. Okay. So we're going to select those. And then I'm going to control select the group node for my new knee control. And I'm going to do the following. I am going to do constraint point. And what that does is it's going to point the circle perfectly in between the hip and the ankle. So even though it's a little bit higher than the knee, it's actually perfectly centered to the hip and the ankle. So we pointed it to the middle of them. All right, so that's good. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to select our knee joint and then control select our group node for our knee. And we are going to do constrain aim options box. I'm going to reset my settings. Maintain offset off. Aim vector is 1 in the Z, so X is 0, Y is 0, 1 in the Z. And then our world up type is going to be seen up. And then we are going to just do, let's see, constrain all, that's good, and add. All right, so now that we have done that, yay, we are going to move our knee control forward. So first I need to get rid of the constraints because otherwise it's not going to move forward well. And then we're just going to move it forward in the Z axis only. So I'm selecting the group node and moving it forward. Okay. All right, so now that we have done that, we are going to actually select our actual knee control, which as you can see is nice and clean, it's all zeros. Shift select our IK handle and constrain pull vector. There should be no shifting of your knee, none. If your knee shifts off center or something crazy happens, you've done things incorrectly, and it might have been even setting up your joints incorrectly. All right, so the next thing we are going to do is we are going to actually, we can mirror this. So I have a little code, a little script up here called MRT, Mirror Objects Tool. It's the same as as if you like grouped this, like duplicated it, grouped it, did -1 in the scale X, and then ungrouped it. It's the exact same steps, only it does it all instantly for you. That script is available for you on eCampus. All right, so I'm going to click MRT, which is going to duplicate this. I'm going to search and replace names. So I'm going to search for underscore L underscore replace with underscore R underscore, just make it super easy for me. And then I am going to select my knee control and select this guy, the IK handle, and constrain whole vector. There should be no shifting. So I forgot to reposition these guys. If you want to reshape these, you need to do it in component mode. Component mode only. So we could go into side view. I recommend doing it like one and then, mirroring it. All right, perspective view. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is my character's knees are going to be a little bit off because I should have done this ahead of time. That's okay. I kind of want them to look like knees. Kneecaps, right? Though I tend to make my kneecaps look a little bit like guitar picks for some reason. I don't know. It's really weird. So here we go. So we're going to bring this in. And we'll bring this in. And there we go. And you could curve it if you wanted to, do all sorts of fun stuff. I'm going to keep it like that. All right. So now that we have done that, if we move this, we see that it moves our knee, which is really important. It's super important for our character and for character animation. All right, so to avoid knee flipping, so what does that mean? So if we lift up this, we'll see that the knee control does not lift up with it. And that's a problem because what's going to happen is if our character's walking forward, this is going to flip. It's going to flip around. So how do we get rid of that? All right, so to avoid knee flipping, what we are going to do is select our CCL foot 01, okay? And then over in our outliner, we're going to control select our group node for our knee. And then we are going to go to constrain point options box and edit reset settings, and then make sure maintain offset is on, okay? And then hit apply. All right, so now if I just select my foot control, you'll notice that my knee control is now pink. That means it has an influence on it, and when I lift it up, my knee lifts up too. All right, so that's super important. So we're gonna do this on the right-hand side. So I'm going to select my foot control on the right-hand side, and then over here in my outliner, I'm going to control select the group node on my right knee, and then I am going to point constrain it with maintain offset on. And then I'm going to test it out by just selecting my foot control, hitting W, and moving it. And look at that. They move in conjunction with one another, which is super duper great. All right, so for my knees, I only need these both translating. They do not need to scale or rotate. So I'm going to select rotate, scale, and visibility. Channels, lock and hide selected. I am going to save this, super important. I'm also going to do the following. I'm going to put both of my group nodes into my control objects group, okay? So all my controls are now here. And lastly, I'm going to color these. So we could, of course, go to our attribute editor and enable overrides, or we can just hit C bleh up on our shelf here, or C red. All right, so we've now cleaned up our controls, added some working knee controls, and next we'll be tackling the spine. Till next time, bye-bye.